Hey there, have you ever caught yourself staring at your little one, wondering, are they ready for this? One minute you're changing diapers like it's second nature, and the next, they're yanking at that soggy diaper or pointing at the potty with those big, curious eyes. It's one of those moments that makes you pause and think, maybe it's time. But then the doubt creeps in, what if you start too soon? Or wait too long? I totally get it. Potty training can feel like this huge mountain to climb for you and your toddler. But here's the good news, you don't have to guess anymore. There are clear signs your kiddo might be ready, and a few big mistakes we can dodge to make this whole thing smoother for everyone. Today, I want to chat with you like we're sitting down over coffee, sharing what I've picked up from my own journey and from other parents across the US. We're going to dive into 5 key signs, ones most folks overlook, that tell you your toddler is ready to ditch the diapers. Plus, I'll walk you through 4 mistakes that could trip you up and even leave your little one scared of the process. This isn't just about getting rid of diapers, it's about boosting your kids' confidence and independence, setting them up to feel like a rock star. So, let's jump in. First off, think about this. Potty training isn't just some checkbox on the parenting list, it's a big emotional and physical leap for your toddler. So how do you know they're ready to take it on? One of the first signs I noticed with my own kid was when they started getting fussy about a wet diaper. Not just the usual whining, but tugging at it, scrunching up their face, like, "Mom, get this off me." If your little one's doing that, it's a huge clue. They're starting to notice how their body feels, and that's the foundation for figuring out when they need to go. Then there's this other sign that's sneakier, and I bet a lot of us miss it. It's when your toddler gets curious about what's happening in the bathroom. Ever catch them peeking around the door while you're on the toilet? Or maybe they ask, "What's Daddy doing?" One time, my son tried sitting on his little potty, fully clothed, of course, but it was like he was testing it out. That curiosity is pure gold. It means they're watching you, wanting to copy, and that's how kids learn best, by mimicking what they see. Now, hold up a sec, just because they're showing these signs doesn't mean you should rush in full speed. I had a friend in Texas who pushed her daughter to start because she was curious, but the poor thing wasn't ready yet. Cue the tears and frustration, for both of them. That brings me to a big mistake to avoid, jumping the gun. If you start before your toddler's body or mind is on board, you might accidentally make the potty feel stressful instead of fun. Imagine being forced into something you're not ready for, yikes, right? Same deal for them. So how do you know when the timing's just right? We've covered the diaper fussiness and bathroom curiosity, but there's another sign I want to toss out there before we dig deeper. It's when your kid starts having longer dry stretches, maybe 2 or 3 hours without a wet diaper. I noticed this with my daughter when we'd be at the park, and I wouldn't need to change her all morning. It hit me, her bladder's growing, and she's getting some control. That's a game changer. Oh, and if you're loving these tips so far, hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to keep sharing this parenting journey with you. Now that we've got these first signs in our pocket, let's peel back the layers a bit more. How do you know if your toddler can actually tell you they need to go? And what happens if you misread a sign or stumble into a bigger mistake? Stick with me, we're about to figure it all out together. Alright, so we've talked about how your toddler might squirm out of a wet diaper, get nosy about the bathroom, and even stay dry for longer stretches. Those are like little breadcrumbs leading you to that big aha moment, my kid's ready. But let's keep going, because there are 2 more signs that'll really seal the deal, plus a couple of mistakes I've seen parents, like me, make that you'll want to steer clear of. Picture this, you're in the middle of making PB&J sandwiches, and your toddler waddles over, grabs your hand, and says something like, "Mommy, potty." Or maybe just points and grunts. That's sign number 4, communication. It doesn't have to be a full-on sentence, let's be real, most toddlers aren't reciting Shakespeare, but if they can give you a heads up with a word, a gesture, or even a funny little wiggle, that's huge. My daughter started doing this goofy hop whenever she had to go, like her own personal potty dance. It took me a minute to catch on, but once I did, I realized she was telling me without words. If your kid's dropping hints like that, pay attention, it's their way of saying, "I'm in tune with my body." The 5th sign is one I absolutely adore because it shows your toddler's turning into their own little person. It's when they start wanting to do things solo, like pulling down their pants or climbing onto the potty without your help. My son once yanked his shorts down, inside out, naturally, and plopped onto the potty with this proud grin, like he just won a gold medal. It's not just cute, it's a sign they're craving control and ready to take charge. If you spot that independence popping up, you're on the right track. But here's where we need to tread carefully, because even with all these signs, there are still ways to mess it up. One mistake I've seen, and yeah, I've been guilty of it, is comparing your kid to others. You know how it goes. You're at a playdate in the neighborhood, and another mom brags, "Oh, my little guy was potty trained at 18 months. Suddenly, you're thinking, shoot, we need to get on this. But every kid's different. I tried rushing my son because his cousin was ahead, and it backfired. He wasn't ready, and we lost weeks of progress. Pushing them to match someone else's timeline can stress them out and make them push back. Another trap is turning it into a power struggle. Say your toddler's refusing the potty, crossing their arms, yelling no, and bolting. You might think, I've got to win this, but forcing them or getting mad only makes it worse. A friend of mine in California once grounded her son for not trying, and he ended up terrified of the potty. That kind of fear can stick with them, tying the bathroom to shame instead of pride. Instead, keep it chill. If they're not into it, just say, "No biggie, we'll try later," and let them come around on their own. If you're finding these nuggets helpful, why not subscribe? I'm dropping tips like this all the time, and I'd love for you to join the crew. So, we've got our 5 signs: diaper fussiness, curiosity, dry spells, communication, and independence, but there's still more to unpack. How do you turn these clues into a win? And what if you accidentally hit one of the last mistakes I've got up my sleeve? Hang tight, we're about to tie it all together and make this a blast for you and your little one. We've come a long way, haven't we? You've got the lowdown on spotting those signs your toddler is ready, fidgeting with wet diapers, sneaking bathroom peeks, staying dry longer, giving you a heads up, and flexing that independence. But even with those in your back pocket, there are a couple more mistakes to watch out for to keep this journey smooth and fun. Let's tackle those last 2 slip-ups and then bring it home with some encouragement, because you've got this. The third mistake is one I think sneaks up on a lot of us: inconsistency. You kick off potty training with all the excitement, set out the potty, cheer them on, but then life happens. Maybe you're running errands in the suburbs or juggling a crazy week, and you slap a diaper back on for convenience. I've been there. One week, I was all in with my son, but the next, I let him wear diapers because we were road tripping to grandma's. He got so confused, potty or diaper. It threw him off, and we had to backtrack. That waffling can leave your kid unsure of what's expected, slowing everything down. Once you start, try to stick with it, not perfect, just steady, so they can count on the routine. The final mistake is what I call expecting too much, too fast. Ever dream your toddler would be diaper-free in a weekend? I did. I had this vision of my daughter nailing it right away, and we'd be tossing the diaper genie out the door. Spoiler, it didn't happen like that. Kids need time, and they'll have accidents or change their minds. If you get frustrated when it's not instant, they'll feel it. One time, I let out a big sigh when my daughter missed the potty, and she gave me this heartbroken look, like she'd let me down. That was my wake-up call. My reaction matters. Keep it realistic. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and that mindset keeps the pressure off both of you. So how do you make this a win? Make it fun. When your toddler signals they need to go or hops on the potty, clap, cheer, or do a silly dance. We had a potty party jig at our house. My son loved it so much, he'd fake a potty trip just to dance. And when they're dry for hours or fussing with diapers, hype them up. "You're such a big kid, I'm so proud." Those little boosts build their confidence, and soon they'll be strutting to the potty like it's no big deal. Looking back, potty training's not just about ditching diapers, it's about your kid feeling like they can conquer anything. Those signs, like curiosity or telling you they need to go, are their way of saying, "I'm ready to level up." And by dodging mistakes like pushing too hard, comparing, or dropping the ball, you're giving them room to shine without fear. It's the small stuff, staying patient, keeping it light, that adds up to something huge. I'd love to hear from you. What signs have you noticed in your little one? Any mistakes you've stumbled into that you'd redo if you could? Drop them in the comments. I read every single one and love swapping stories with you. And if this helped you feel more ready, hit that subscribe button. I'm sharing more parenting hacks like this all the time, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. You're doing an amazing job, and with a little patience and a lot of love, you and your toddler are going to crush this potty training thing. Keep it up, you've got this.